Located in the midst of the steep canyons of southern France, is one of the most spectacular cave systems in Europe.
We are absolutely confident that the cave will continue somewhere. Tobias and I, we've been there in 2013 and we dove to the very end of the cave, but the end is quite abrupt, so we believe in 105 meters there might be a continuation of the cave. And if the cave base would find a continuation of that cave this year, I mean, that would be really a spectacular story to tell.
It's really far off the grid. It's basically a 1-hour off-road drive to get there from the main road down into the valley. And well, hopefully nothing bad will happen here as it's quite distant to the next safe harbour.
We went further into the cave. We went down to the second siphon at around 55 meters.
This is exactly where the cave base members are meeting for their project this year. Everyone who wants to dive here has to master technical cave diving perfectly, with mixed gases and rebreathers. This year, Ollie and Max, who are part of the cave base team, are planning to dive down to 105 meters. Their mission, finding a new passage.
The cave's profile is just mental. It goes up and down all the time.
What's so special about the profile?
It goes first down to 80, then up to 18, down again to 92, up to 35, and then finally down to 105. Well, and after that we have to go the same way back.
Welcome to one of the last adventures in Europe, the exploration of the Gunnaroo Cave in central France. In order to be able to conduct exploration in such remote places, the entire cave base team has to work hard.
Bags! And then we send the JJ! And after that, stages!
A cable railway needs to be installed with 3 stations in total: the uphill, the middle, and the downhill station where the equipment eventually arrives.
Okay, frei.
Guys, next we send Ollie's JJ.
The transportation of all the valuable equipment needs to be precisely synchronized.
3, 2, 1 und gut.
The team brought along an oversized plastic container from Germany. This box will be filled with air. It gets attached to the cave ceiling and provides a dry habitat for 2 divers.
Off it goes! The habitat needs to get in here, through that small window, into the water, then taking it to its place to the ceiling. Hopefully not too complicated.
It really only fits with a bit of kicking. It's quite a challenge to get it through.
I was actually very skeptical when I first saw the entrance of the cave, but surprisingly it went in quite smooth, and after 2 seconds the job was done. I'm really impressed. Didn't think it would be that easy.
The whole team, including 4 support divers, are required to place the habitat properly.
We had to acknowledge that it was too heavy, so we decided to simply roll it to its place. We turned and turned it until we had it in place.
The artificial air bubble will be placed at exactly 9 meters. Once it's placed and filled up, it creates a safety net for all team members. From now on, divers can do their decompression in a dry place.
It's actually placed very well, 9.3 meters.
Not only is it important for the team to find the continuation of the cave, but they also want to map the course of the cave as precisely as possible. Ollie is an expert when it comes to surveying and offers a short refresher course on site. The recorded data will later be digitalized and shared with others, which should make diving in this challenging cave a little safer. After 3 days of hard work, everything is finally prepared. Today, after breakfast, the team will start their dives. But this morning has given the team a bit of a shock.
Because it suddenly started raining, although no rain was forecasted for the next weeks, and breakfast in the rain is a kind of unpleasant, so we packed the pavilion and good to have one.
A bit of a shame with the rain. Guess everything at the cave will be wet now.
No issues, we are full of hope, and tomorrow we will dive.
The weather god is still kind to us and the sun is coming out. With a bit of luck, the undersuits will dry now and then things can really get going tomorrow.
So the situation at the downhill station wasn't as slippery as we thought it would be. But the shortcoming was, of course, that all the undersuits that were hanging outside are now soaking wet and now have to dry first. We are now digging out all the backup undersuits that we still have, so at least a few people can get in the water. So, we're going to make ends meet.
A blessing in disguise. After only a few hours, all undersuits are dry again, and everyone can finally dive.
Well, I didn't use the heating during the dive, but then, during the decompression, I plugged myself in and, superb.
A great day comes to an end. Everyone in the team was able to extensively dive the Ganeru cave and enjoy the fascinating passages. Everyone is happy, but also exhausted.
I'm hungry now. Let's get ready. Let's have a barbecue and something to eat.
We will dive with a 777 cave-based configuration on our JJs. Tomorrow morning, we'll get up just before 5 a.m. And to sharpen our minds and bodies, we'll first jump into the River Vis. That will certainly help us to start the day fresh. After that, we will walk over to the cave's entrance, get into our equipment, and eventually start the dive.
That means 8:30 is bedtime and 5 a.m. is wake up?
Yeah.
Well then, in that case, good night.
It's 5:30.
Gosh, once your upper body's in the water, you are awake, I tell you. Exactly what we need right now.
Felt every centimetre of my body. Now we can start.
Lecker Kaffee trinken.
Having a nice cup of coffee, yes. Then take a nice walk to the cave. And then change clothes in a relaxed manner. Double check everything. And go through everything mentally.
It's 7:29 a.m. The two push divers are just getting ready, putting on their suits, and then we'll help them into their equipment. And then hopefully, at 8 a.m. sharp, it's time to dive.
Abtauchen angesagt.
So you're pretty much in your own bubble there, preparing your things, checking everything very carefully, and wanting to be distracted as little as possible.
Now it's time to concentrate. It's serious. You can feel the tension. Any moment the two will submerge and hopefully find a continuation in 105 meters of water.
We got the push team into the water at 8:24 a.m. Everything has gone well so far. We're in good spirits at the moment, and now we have to wait 4 hours.
For the first time in a while, the team has time to relax. While the team recharges their batteries, Ollie and Max follow the course of the cave. An electronic underwater logger records their movements in the remote part of the cave. Team 2 is slowly getting ready. If the calculations are correct, they will meet the push team at 12 meters. Ideally, the timing is good enough for them to help Ollie and Max get to the habitat.
1, 2, 3. And 3.
Start time for Team 2, 12:24.
The calculations fit exactly. Max and Ollie are already at 12 meters. The most important decompression data is briefly exchanged, and then the entry into the habitat begins. A critical moment, because now the push divers have to take off their rebreathers after more than 6 hours of diving time in order to enter the habitat.
Yes, that worked reasonably well. I was always keeping a close eye on it. Christopher first wanted to open the wrong belt, the one with the weight attached to it. I just stopped him in time from opening the wrong one. Then we took off their rebreathers, connected their new argon cylinders. After we got them out of their diving gear, we pushed them into the habitat. I then distributed all the cylinders underneath so that they were in reach for them, the oxygen and the brake gas. That actually worked quite well. Yes, but now I'm also very exhausted because I'd done a 2.5 hour dive before and then another hour of habitat support.
Max just showed me that they've reached 105 meters. Both are now well placed in the habitat and waiting for their hot meal. Everything else works just fine.
Now we're curious about how long we have to wait until they come out of the water. Now let's cook something to eat for the two of them. So they'll get dried fish with a few noodles. And for dessert, there's rice pudding with vanilla flavor. A bit of tea, and then the two of them will survive quite well.
While Mark and Christopher take care of the habitat, Heinke takes care of the food delivery. A pressure-resistant steel box protects the food. It is dinner time in the habitat and spirits are rising immediately. From now on, it's only a few hours until they can emerge safely back to the surface.
So, Ollie. All right, Ollie, get in touch with them, dive to the last eco station, ask them what's up, and come back and report, okay?
All right. I'll ask them how they want to surface, we'll check their schedule, and we'll double-check the timings. 1740 should be okay.
All right, good luck.
Thank you very much. Yes, the atmosphere felt good. They were joking as much as possible. They gave me an okay back out of the habitat. Well, basically the mood is good. Things are going well for them and we'll get them out later. Christopher will accompany both of them later. I think it was a good and successful day. And at the end of the day, we'll hopefully all be back at the camp safe and sound and can party a bit. Guess we all deserve that now.
I'll wait until the guys down in the habitat have done their decompression and then I'll dive in and escort them out one by one so that nothing goes wrong. And if anything happens, I can provide support.
There are only a few seconds left until the two reach the water surface.
How was it in the habitat?
Pleasant, very pleasant, especially Mark. He did it really well, really well.
A terrific cave, a terrific dive, and we had the right concept.
Mega dive. Auf jeden Fall ein mega
cool cave, and really cool to dive. And the best part actually starts after a depth of 90 meters.
Nach hinten raus.
We've placed a cookie at 105,
Der möchte gerne,
which wants to be moved.
The cave is gigantic, simply gigantic. I remember how Ollie was diving into that huge black shaft and I was thinking, dude, how awesome is that? Mega cave, honestly, it's so beautiful, and the flat passages totally reminded us of the wrestle. We lit up everything on the way in and out. Nothing, no chance. So there's no other passage one could go.
Although no continuation was found, everyone had tremendous fun and enjoyed diving in this exposed location. For now, everyone is just enjoying the moment. An awesome adventure.